Hello, welcome back to the Guidance from Within podcast. I am your friend and host, Brittany. I am an esoteric energy healer and an inner child healing coach. I also have a background in reading the Akashic Records, if that interests you. I also have a background in mentoring clients on how to read their own Akashic Records as well. What I have been focusing on recently is a deep dive into esoteric healing, what it is, how energy healing even works, and what your energetic anatomy looks like. So if any of those things interest you, be sure to subscribe and follow along. Today, I want to dive deeper into how your body is a roadmap for your past lives, how your body is a roadmap to your energy body, and what that looks like. So for this episode, I want to dive deeper into breaking apart and breaking down the different parts of your physical body and what it could mean if you have a sensitive area in any kind of part, whether it be the shoulder, the hip, your right toe, maybe your left pinky. What does all of that mean in an esoteric healing viewpoint? So esoteric healing is a form of energy healing that I've been doing for most of my life. I turned 28 this year, and at the age of 14, I started studying this work with my grandmother. So it is a generational sort of teaching. My grandmother teaches it, and I'm currently in the teacher training process to be able to teach it to you as well. So esoteric healing is more in depth than things like Reiki. Esoteric healing is very specific with the anatomy, your physical anatomy, your emotional body, your mental body. It even takes a look at your soul anatomy and working with the will of your soul to bring harmony and flow to you, to all aspects of who you are. If we break that down even further, we can kind of break down the body. Let's start by your left and right side. So let's focus on the left side of your body, a line straight down the middle. In esoteric healing philosophy, we learn that the left side of your body represents your feminine energy, and it represents sort of that divine feminine flow that you have. We all have feminine energy. Now, the right side of your body represents your divine masculine energy, that masculine energy that is a part of you that balances with your feminine. So your divine feminine and your divine masculine energies do balance and harmonize with each other, but sometimes they can be off balance where we have too much of an influence of our feminine side and not enough of our masculine side, and vice versa. So the right side of your body, that masculine part of you, is affected mostly by your external relationships. So this is going to look like your relationship to work and career. This is going to look like your relationship to your teachers and mentors, your relationship to your partners, your family. I think you get the idea. Now, the interesting part of that is even though the right side represents sort of the external relationships that we have, it also navigates and, of course, affects the left side of your body, which is all about the internal relationship that you have with yourself. So let me break that down a little bit more. I'm talking about the way that you talk to yourself, the way that you feel about yourself, the way that you judge yourself or accept yourself, the shame or the heaviness you put on yourself, your perfectionism or your laziness. That internal relationship with yourself totally directly impacts that left side of your body. And of course, you can't have one without the other. So they do kind of reflect one another. The left and right side mirror back to one another. They both harmonize and integrate. You're not one without the other. Let's break this down even further. So let's talk about how that sort of impact can have a timeline with your body. So when we're looking at things that come up physically or illnesses in the body, or maybe you stub your right toe, there's a deeper story there. So part 2 of this video is about what impacts us physically, or the things that we go through physically, how that tells your soul story, right? How does me hurting my right shoulder, which is true, it's something I've been working through, I'll give that as an example. How does hurting my right shoulder directly impact my relationship to my external and internal self? And how does that show a timeline in my soul anatomy? All right, so the closer the injury or the illness is to the core, your torso, the closer that illness or injury is, the older the depletion has been there in your soul self. So if we're looking at a shoulder that is very, very depleted, a shoulder that has been injured, a shoulder that maybe is very stiff, or there's some sharp pain in your shoulder, maybe there's an accident and you have an actual physical laceration on your shoulder, you fall and you hurt your shoulder. What we're looking at is an injury or an older depletion at the soul level. What this means is, in your energetic body, as you reincarnate, stay with me here, as you reincarnate, your energetic body follows you. And if you have a previous injury in certain parts of your body, the closer it is to the trunk, the more likely it is to follow you throughout your incarnations. So if you hurt your shoulders, this also goes for your hips. If you have hip pain, if you fall and hurt your hip, or if you have some really tight hips or some lower back pain, remember, the closer the physical depletion is to the torso of your body, the older that depletion is with you and the longer that depletion you've been carrying around. So in a past life, I may have had a right shoulder injury that really affected me physically, emotionally, mentally. Maybe I hurt my right shoulder because I was hunting, or maybe I was going to war and an arrow was shot through my right shoulder. That's a really heavy, traumatizing injury to have in an incarnation. If I don't offer myself the space to really heal the traumatic experience that has surrounded that shoulder injury, as my soul reincarnates, I might incarnate into this life. And when I was doing yoga one day, my right shoulder went out. I pulled something in my right shoulder, and I am working now to clear whatever heaviness is causing a depletion in my right shoulder, is causing that energetic density, so that it can be open and in flow. And what's interesting to me is a lot of illness that we have, whether it be arthritis, whether it be some neurological issues, whether it be some deeper things just with like MS or lupus, things like that, I wouldn't be surprised if your soul has had those illnesses in a previous lifetime, and you today get to see this experience, that illness, from a whole different perspective. You get the lessons, and you get the sort of a mental and emotional experience that comes with having that illness for you to move through. It's kind of like, until we have fully cleared the blockage or boosted and supported the depletion in those areas, we might keep incarnating to have it, because that is our bigger soul plan. So let's recap. The closer the injury or the illness is to the torso of your body, the longer that, and the more likely it is that you have carried around that depletion or energy from lifetime to lifetime. Now, part 3, I want to bring this all together for you. Let's say that you stub your left toe. That is pretty far away from your torso, right? That's pretty far away from kind of the trunk of your body. So what that is telling me is that is a recent experience that you are going through. Maybe you hurt your ankle, maybe you twist your ankle. It's pretty common. That is a recent experience that you are going through that is causing you to have a physical depletion. Part of this is, did we hurt our ankle or stub our toe on the left or the right side? So the example I'm giving is, I've stubbed my toe on the left side. The left side represents the internal relationship we have with ourselves and that feminine energy, right? So I'm going to want to know, oh, I stubbed my left toe. and it hurt a lot. And that is bringing my attention to my feminine energy. It's bringing my attention to maybe there's a depletion of my feminine energy recently if I was to stub my right toe. And this is also making me wonder, what recent inner conflict have I been going through about myself? Maybe I've had a lack of sort of self-confidence lately, and a lack of self-confidence when it comes to my sort of feminine sexuality, or a lack of confidence when it comes to who I am as a woman, a lack of confidence when it comes to sort of how I see myself, right, in a feminine way. Or it could just be I'm having an internal dialogue and I'm having a lot of trouble when it comes to trusting myself and my intuition. Those are recent conflicts that are occurring with the internal dialogue I have with myself, my relationship. So naturally, there might be a depletion, and it has occurred for me to really stub my left foot and hurt my left toe, which is mirroring back for me some things that I am working through emotionally and mentally. Now let's switch it. Let's go to the right side body. So let's say that we've all done it. Let's say that you've accidentally shut your finger in a car door, or let's say that you accidentally give a paper cut with arts and crafts or something that you're doing, but all of a sudden you get that annoying paper cut and it's on your right hand. Well, my question to you would be, what has occurred in your life lately when it comes to your masculine side, right? Maybe there's something there to dive into. The other thing I would ask you is, what has been happening in your external relationships? Do you feel frustrated with certain relationships in your life? Are you frustrated with your partner, your kids? Are you frustrated with your work situation? What is coming up for you that might cause any type or any variation of injury on your right side that is an external sort of physical injury for the relationships in your life, right? I hope you're following along with me with this. If you have any questions about it, please message me at Heart of Britt on Instagram or heartofbrit@gmail.com, and I'd love to talk to you more about this. Or you can book an esoteric energy healing session, and I can teach you all the things that we can take a look at together about your anatomy and your energy body during that session. So let's recap and bring it all together. The left side and right side of your body tell your story, and they can mirror back to you what is going on internally with the relationship to yourself, what is going on externally with the relationship to others. The left side body represents feminine energy and is sort of really deeply affected by the relationship you have with yourself. Right side represents masculine energy, is affected by your external relationships, and they balance together. Now, another thing is we can dive deeper into this in a later episode, which is how each center, how each chakra system, how each energetic center of your body relates to the internal and external world itself. And I'll give you one example before we go. We're going to talk about the heart center, that heart space, that heart chakra. The heart chakra depletion might come up if we are not showing ourselves enough compassion, if we're not showing ourselves enough acceptance for who we are, or if we're judging ourselves or criticizing ourselves too much, right? What that would look like is your immune system. It might look like your circulation system is having some sensitivities. It might look like your vagus nerve, you're having heart palpitations. How do we balance that heart center? Well, maybe we're giving too much to others and we're not saving enough of ourselves for us. So we need to take a look at balancing the heart and the relationship we have with others, and take a look at how we perceive ourselves and how we can share more compassion and more love towards ourselves, not only internally, but in our outside relationships as well. If you've enjoyed this quick session today to learn more about your energetic body, you can subscribe, leave a comment, and let me know what you think. And if you have any recommendations for what you want to learn about your energetic body moving forward, please let me know.